Okay, I want to bring attention to two things. One, a channel that I discovered maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe longer than that. It might have been last year. I think it was. I think it was, as a matter of fact. This channel, it is a guy, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to show it to you right here. I will post a link in the description of this video to the video I'm talking about right now, which is the first one you see up here. When the artist refuses to play by DC's rules, and it's about Darwyn Cooke. And Matt's channel, if you are a person that is just looking for exciting stuff about comic books, exciting history about comic books and manga, he doesn't just cover comic books. This is, I want to say, the best channel on YouTube, but maybe I just don't know about enough channels like this. But I will say this is one of the best, I'll put it that way, one of the best comic book history channels on YouTube. I got put on to a lot of things I did not know about due to his channel. I want to say it was his channel where I first learned about Carl Barks. Again, to my shame, same thing with Darwyn Cooke. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it was a video he did. Yep, this one right here, Erased by Disney. Good video. I think, pretty sure this is it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, he does a lot of good comic book and manga history videos. No, there it goes right there. It's this one where he talks about, is that it? Why Disney wants to erase this beloved cartoonist from history. Yeah, I believe this is the one about Carl Barks. I don't know why I thought it was the one down there. Maybe it's both of them. Did he do 2 videos about Carl Barks? I'm gonna have to watch this other one as well. The Hunt for the Anonymous Cartoonist Who Transformed Pop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch both of those videos. I'm seeing videos on his channel I haven't watched yet. But the reason I bring his channel up, he's at 331,000 subscribers right now. The dude should be at 1 million subscribers. He has 29 videos. Typically, when you see a channel with very few videos, but a large number of subscribers, you could say a bunch of things. I'm sure somebody has something else to say about how they get so many subscribers. But I will say, watching his videos, the amount of research that he does, the exclusive interviews that he has, and the information covered in his videos that you don't really get anywhere else. Yeah, I can't complain. I'm not going to play his videos. I don't want to do that. I want people to actually go watch that video and see the legacy and history of this great man that I did not know. I didn't even realize how many great DC cartoons Darwyn Cooke was in some way, shape, or form involved in. He tried to get into the industry via the traditional comic book route and got in via animation. The story is crazy. Again, go watch Matt's video. It's a great video. The amount of information that he covers in his videos, and they're not super long. Some of them are longer than others. Like that video I watched yesterday or day before yesterday, 40 minutes. That's not a long video. That's not a long video at all. I typically watch and listen to videos while I'm doing other things, so it goes by fast. But this book right here, DC New Frontier, this is a masterpiece. I'm only a little bit under a quarter of the way through the book. Started reading it earlier, just got it in today. And I was just admiring the layout. It's so different than anything done in the modern era in comic books. It's a throwback, but not a throwback in such a way that it's jarring. There's some books that I have in my collection, comic books that are more cartoon based, and they look like cartoons. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's not necessarily my thing. This one has the Batman animated series from the 90s art style, but even though it's stylized that way, it's more detailed, but not too detailed, but just enough. But the story, oh, this is an impeccable story. It is riveting from the time you open the book. Some comic books I read and I find myself trying to get to the end. With this book, I find myself just staring at the pages after I've read, like, yo, I love the way he did this. I love the way he constructed this whole thing and put this together. This is incredible. It's making me want to spend more time with the book. It's a great thing. Why I wonder to myself, are artists and writers similar to this not celebrated more? He took such a traditional approach, and from what I learned in Matt's video, he wasn't really a huge fan of all of the gratuitous violence in some comic books. Now, I don't necessarily have an issue with violence in comic books because I understand the nature of comic books and what they're showing. It's giving a not realistic, but a view of the world, the violence and evil within the world, and people who can do something about it. And they do, these heroes. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But the reason I love Darwyn Cooke's approach is because he could show you something without showing you, but you get it. And as I'm reading the book, I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. He didn't show this thing, but I got exactly what he was going for. He didn't have to say a certain thing, but I got it from what I'm looking at here. What is it called? Show and don't tell. He did it. He did it great. He did it great. This is probably one of the greatest. And I'm only a quarter of the way in. I've read a lot of good things about this. I guess he won an Eisner for this very story right here, which even less than a quarter of the way in, I am not surprised by that. So he was born in 1962. He died in 2016, unfortunately, lung cancer. He was a smoker. And he's Canadian. This is the funny thing. Some of my favorite artists and writers, I'm figuring out, they're Canadian. What's the deal with that? What's going on over there in Canada with comic book artists and writers? You guys got some hits, man. You guys got some hits. You're producing some rock stars. I got to give it to you. But he is he's most known for the New Frontier story, which was released in 2004 and 2005. He worked on Batman Ego, which was published in 2000. He worked on Catwoman, which began in 2001. He collaborated with Ed Brubaker on Catwoman. He worked on Spirit. The Spirit was originally created by Will Eisner, speaking of which. And that whole story, again, more things covered in Matt's video. That is great. He worked on Batman Beyond. He contributed to the Superman animated series. He contributed to Batman the animated series. Let's see. He worked for Bruce Timm. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he actually started his own studio, animated studio. Says he also worked on some X-Men related projects. Trying to get everything, a bunch of the things he worked on. So he had a good career. The thing is, like I said, he started late, which when you hear the story, you go watch Matt's video and you hear the story. I'm sure there are many of my followers that are already familiar with Darwyn Cooke. I figured out that a lot of my followers are actually DC people. I'm a Marvel guy. I want to say I'm a Marvel guy whose favorite hero has always been Batman, right? So I was never really into DC, but Batman I was fully into. I didn't care about Superman, didn't care about the Justice League, Wonder Woman, Flash, never cared about any of that. I'd say it wasn't until probably maybe 3 years ago that I really started buying DC comic books. I again, Marvel guy. DC's doing their thing lately. They have some of the best storytellers, some of the best artists, some of the best concurrent running stories right now. They just got it. And I wish I would have read this while Darwyn Cooke was still alive. But you know what? This This book, it gives me confidence, and I'll tell you why it gives me confidence, because I see in the independent space people who are holding to the same standard of quality writing and quality art. This Darwyn Cooke's art isn't the most detailed, but the dynamism in his art, and this is something that some modern artists don't understand. You look at some pictures and they are static. Now, I am not a super critique guy. Those of you who watch this channel, you know that. But at one point in my life, I wanted to be a comic book artist. So art is something that I would say, more familiar with than different writing styles and techniques and the different prose within writing. I don't know too much about that. I know what I like, but art is something I'm a lot more familiar with. The dynamism in Darwyn Cooke's art is incredible. The level of dynamism with the level of detail, or it's not that there's not enough detail. There's just, he's not over the top with the detail, but you still get that dynamic feel and it flows like cinema. This is a great artist. This is a great artist and an incredible author. And I'm so thankful for Matt's channel and that he introduced me to Darwyn Cooke, and I now get to read this amazing work. This is the thing about comic books. Even though everything is not all good right now, there are so many comic books, and comic books has 80 plus years of history. So there's definitely a lot of reading that can be done. And I can guarantee there's not many people that have read it all. So again, very thankful for Matt introducing me to Darwyn Cooke. I can't wait to finish this book.